What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. This video is for those of you who are thinking about moving abroad and want to get a realistic budget for living abroad. But it's kind of hard for you to get real numbers if you've never been to the place or you just don't know the information, right? So for the purpose of today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a realistic budget if you plan to live on the beautiful island of Roatan, Honduras, right? For those of you who don't know, well, where are my manners? My name is Audrey and I live a bi-coastal lifestyle, meaning I have two home bases, one in Roatan and the other one in New York. So let's get right into it, talking about for me, the most important part of the budget is the housing, right? So for the purpose of today's video, we're going to just talk about renting because buying property and purchasing a home is a whole nother video. And I'm going to leave a link in the description box to a video I made about real estate with one of my real estate girls. And we're going to be doing some more of those videos, right? So for right now, let's just talk about renting. And I'm talking about a 2-bedroom apartment, right? Now, here's some video of our old 2-bedroom apartment, and I'm gonna use that just to give you a visual. Very spacious 2 bedrooms with closets in each bedroom, spacious living dining area, washer, dryer with some of the amenities, and a parking spot. Right, one parking spot. So in 2025, an apartment like that can cost between $600 to $700 a month. However, if you want to do something that's luxury or something that's beachfront, something like that can easily go from $1,000 to $2,000 per month. It just depends on how close you want to live to the beach or how luxury do you want to get. For example, there are 2-bedroom condos that are not near the beach, but they're in a gated community. It's condos, right? So the rent over there is it's like $1,700 to $1,800 a month for those 2 bedrooms. Or one of the biggest expenses here on the island when it comes to utilities, the light bill. Our electricity costs 3 to 4 times more than your average US bill. And one of the factors that increase the light bill will be things like the large appliances, starting with the AC. So if you have two air conditioners, my advice is to hopefully you find a place that has windows and a lot of air, or maybe a front porch or a back porch, so that when it's kind of hot, you can chill outside, right? But we use our ACs when it's very hot or if it's raining and we can't sit outside or something like that. A realistic budget for your electricity bill is $150 per month. That can, mind you, I know people who they have to pay $600-700 a month. But again, the bigger the house, the more ACs, then the higher your light bill will be. But for a 2-bedroom apartment, let's say two ACs, a washing machine, and a standard size refrigerator, between $150 to $200 a month is a realistic budget for that. Right? So now let's go to food. Now, when it comes to food, it all depends on your diet. If you are a vegan or vegetarian, then those foods more than likely are imported to Honduras. So all imported products will have higher prices. If you're a vegan who cooks most of your food, then you'll probably use a lot of local products, and that will help to lower down your supermarket bill. So, but if you're buying things like all of the fruits, vegetables, um, fruits, vegetables, grains like flour, if you eat pasta, um, all of those things are way more cheaper than buying the American brand. Although they have it, and to be honest, the American brand of some things just don't taste all that great to me. But that's another video for a whole nother day, because if you compare the ingredients on some of the products imported from the US compared to the products that are made here in Central America or in Honduras, very different. But like I said, that's another video for another day. But for a family of six, for example, a family of six, a realistic supermarket bill is $800 a month. I also want to say one of the things that helps a lot with the supermarket bill, including like cleaning supplies, is if you know that you buy a certain product over and over again. For example, I love Dr. Bronner's soap, right? But I don't find it here. If you're like a baker or you cook a lot of things from scratch using things like chickpea flour, almond flour, although they have some of that stuff here, shout out to Eldon Supermarket because it's one of the most popular supermarkets here on the island. It has a great balance between US products and Honduran products. And now there's another branch for vegan stuff. It might not mean much to you, but when I moved here in 2011, the most vegan or vegetarian thing that they had was almond milk. And I was so grateful for that. I remember being so hyped that I could buy almond milk in 2014, 15. And now in 2025, the selection is is so much more selections. And although some people still complain, I am grateful for what we do have on the island, and whatever it is that they don't have, because we're so close to the US and there are many companies that ship back and forth. If it really irks your nerves that you can't find certain things, or you just simply really need certain items because of your diet, or maybe you have sensitive skin, then you should consider sending a barrel or a box from whatever state you're in and just pile it up and send it over. Now, let's go to the next, entertainment. Entertainment, again, like I said, it varies. For those of you who are drinkers, you can find $3 beers, you can find $4 shots, $7 cocktails. So your bill going out will be significantly lower than, let's say, in New York, you're buying a cocktail for like $15, $16, right? I wouldn't really put a number to entertainment because you could do $300 in one night as a couple, depending on where you're going, or you can spread out $300 over the course of 3 4 weeks. So it really just all depends. And I feel like it's standard, right? Even in the US, if you're planning to go out to drink and stuff, then your bill of entertainment will increase. But rule of thumb, no matter what you decide as entertainment here, most of the time it's cheaper here than in the US. So whatever your budget is for entertainment in the US is going to be less over here. For those of you who have children and you're thinking about putting your children in school, there are private schools here that teach in English, and they are accredited schools. So if you decide to move back to the US with your children, then they would be put into the proper grade, in the right grade, right? Now, the budget for private school here, again, it ranges between which location you're at on the island. I know for a fact there's one school where you can budget $400, $300 to $400 a month for private school. So just multiply that by the number of children that you have. If you know that you're gonna be back and forth or spend more time abroad, another option is also homeschooling. So you can choose your homeschool curriculum. There's so many options, and just include a homeschooling into your budget. Something to think about if you're deciding to homeschool your children abroad. You can actually hire a tutor or a teacher and budget that in. So you can budget paying someone every 2 weeks to tutor your child if you want to free up some of your own time, or if you want to be the person to homeschool your child. That's also an option, right? But there's so much flexibility. So the last thing I'm going to put into the budget is transportation. If you're living on an island and you're in a location where there aren't many people, not much traffic, more than likely you're going to buy a vehicle. Now, when you buy a vehicle, this is a whole other video, but side note, buy a vehicle where the parts that you need are common on the island, which are the number one most common car on this island is a Toyota. So if you're gonna buy a car, I strongly recommend getting a Toyota or a Nissan, because when it comes to fixing your car, you want to make sure that the mechanic you go to is gonna have the parts for it. Otherwise, you're either gonna have to ship your car back, maybe send it all the way to the mainland of Honduras, or wait a long time for them to order the pieces. But a realistic budget for gas for your car every month and maintenance, I would say you can budget $600 a month for your car expenses. There goes your realistic budget for living on the beautiful island of Roatan. So now my advice to you, this is for Roatan. I would make the same list for what is your budget like in the area or the state or the country that you live in right now, to just to compare and contrast. If you guys are seriously considering moving here and you're interested in buying property or buying a house, I'm going to leave a form in the description box so you can fill it out. Let me know, because I know people who can help you seamlessly purchase your property or your home with doing all of your due diligence with legal stuff and all those things. Residency, they got you. If you just want to come and visit, you want to bring a group over and you need help setting up your tours, let me know. Because again, I work with some amazing, on a serious note, I work with some amazing people here on the island. I met a lot of people over the years, and tour guides to realtors to so many great people. So if you're coming to the island, please let me know. We can help you organize your travel, even if you need help organizing your flights, your hotels, you want to organize the activities that you're going to be doing, let me know. And lastly, if you're just simply exploring bi-coastal living and you need help with a starting point, you don't know where to go, what to consider, and you just want some reference, I wrote a book, right? Which is basically, it's a testimony and a guide to living abroad. No matter where you move in the world, there are certain things you're going to need to do. One of the areas where I focus on a lot in my book is digital marketing, and giving you ideas about how to get started with digital marketing, how to help your online presence. Thank you guys for watching. Continue to like, share, follow, and I'll leave the links to everything that I mentioned in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.